In today's video, we're going to be checking in on Total 3, the total market cap excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all dollar derivatives, as well as the regular total market cap as well, and even some Bitcoin dominance action, and see, is the overall picture changing here? Is it altcoin season, or is it still that nuanced picture that we were sort of explaining before, that this is probably going to be an altcoin, a shitcoin choosers market? And well, without further ado, we can just jump right into this one. I should let you know that it's actually being pre-recorded, so I'm actually going to be traveling on the day that this is released. So hopefully all goes well. Anyways, on the monthly right here, we're going to be looking at a very simplistic analysis, but don't confuse simplicity with not usefulnicity. And in this case, we're just looking at a red moving average here that represents the 5 exponential moving average on the monthly time frame. And it's kind of the same sort of interpretation that we did have for Bitcoin as well. As long as we do see the total 3 market cap above it, then we generally expect all tests down to reconnects to that red moving average as long-term opportunities in a general uptrending motion, which does lead towards continuation. And as we can see right here, we have gotten the next reconnect to this on the last couple, actually in April and in the low of May as well. So as it is right now, we would not expect any closures below about 610 billion with a B, if this market is going to continue from here. And we do expect that this moving average will rise from this closure to the next. Obviously, it's a long month left to go, 22 days and 18 hours to be exact. But assuming that that stays consistent, we would expect that this is essentially the next higher low as things do continue up. I want to bring you back to the last market cycle over here, in which you can see basically ever since the total 3 market cap reclaimed the red moving average, it was essentially a buy on every test down to that 5 exponential moving average and continued up massively within, no more than 2 months from reconnects to that. In fact, almost every month it was just up. Same thing over here as well, but certainly less tested. And other than that, once it loses it, it's usually game over for a year or more. So I would say that that does call into major question here. If things were to be lost below about 610 billion by end of month, what should we expect? Well, not alt season, I'll put it that way. We can also go ahead and look at the bi-monthly chart, in which we'll see kind of a similar relationship here as well. Same moving average, just different time frame. And as you can see, another sort of reconnect on the low of this bi-monthly as well, which actually did just start. So again, we would expect that the lows are probably already in if this market cycle is going to continue. That is to say, if you see lower than what is currently on the board, it's very possible we're looking at a major reversal. And it's not just not alt season, it's like go fuck yourself season. I made a tweet yesterday which was maybe a little bit flippant in nature, but something to the tune of Bitcoin sneezes and altcoins get AIDS, and that's how it feels like. So you can imagine that if Bitcoin were to step down here, I'm not saying that it's going to, but let's say theoretically Bitcoin came down well below 60,000 bucks, that would probably fuck things up for altcoins for a long time. Anyways, quarterly chart, same thing here as well. As long as total 3 is above it, but above the red moving average, that is trending motion. Second that it loses it, bad, really fucking bad. But again, we can see that on that current downside move, a clear and obvious reconnect. So we have reconnects on the monthly, bi-monthly, and quarterly here. Again, like if the lows are either already in, or this is like actually really fucked. But I'm going with the lows already in. That's just my opinion. But of course, that means nothing without some sort of an objectifiable means of defining whether that is true or not. And again, that would be at that base, let's just call it 600 billion. It's easier to say. Below there on a closing basis, over for a long time. And here's the thing. While altcoins likely do continue, just in general, this is just the total 3 market cap. That has no relationship to Bitcoin's value. In order to get the relationship to Bitcoin's value, the best means of doing this is actually going on your altcoin versus Bitcoin chart. But to get a general view of that, we could look at Bitcoin dominance, which I don't think is actually the best way to be looking at it. So we'll look at a few just singular altcoins after this. But as we can see right here on Bitcoin dominance, we are getting some signals here of actually topping behavior. It is not confirmed just yet, but we have essentially gotten the move to the 618 fib, which is about just around 57.5%. Thus far, the high of this quarterly is just over 57%. I'd say probably close enough is close enough in this case. I do think that it's very possible that we've already seen the high on this, or it's very, very close to being in. You know, maybe one more stab up towards that number, but it does look like, at least to me, we're starting to see some actual selling come into the market. If we go down here to the monthly, you know, again, I do say that, yeah, there certainly might be another test of the upside, but any sort of closures below 53.5%. I would say you're gonna see an altcoin season, but that's probably not going to be for all altcoins. All altcoins are not created equal, especially in this cycle. It seems to me. It seems to me that the majority of this is being held up by a few strong altcoins, and this overwhelming majority of altcoins are very weak. So the strong ones in this cycle have certainly been something like Solana. Solana was a market leader for a while. So to check in on Solana, how's the chart looking right here? Long term, good. Short term, consolidation, really. But short term, I'd even say, yeah, the lows are likely in at 0.0018. You know, as long as you're above there, fine. You know, these are all higher lows and higher highs. I mean, it is just a trend. So just let it be your friend. We could also look at Ethereum, Bitcoin. Not necessarily a market leader in this current cycle, but we'd expect this one to be finding something resembling a low here, and little bit less certain of look, if you're a betting man, this is where you'd really want to see a reversal from. This is where you'd expect to see a reversal from the 0.4723 region, which it has stabbed down towards multiple times since we outlined this in the past like half year. But it's spending a lot of time down around here. So, you know, still, I would be favoring until broken, I guess, a low being printed here, but goddamn, it's taken its time, right? What are some other market leaders? Actually, don't even know. Actually, don't even know. A lot of fucking meme coins this cycle is what it seems like to me. So what I would say is look at your favorite shitcoin versus Bitcoin. If you're seeing uptrends there, which this is admittedly not an uptrend, certainly compared to Solana versus Bitcoin, which is certainly an uptrend, then it's probably among the weaker ones, and probably not going to benefit that much during the cycle. During this cycle, again, you know, we're really seeing a bifurcation in this market between strong altcoins and weak altcoins. In past cycles, we've seen just generally a rising tide lift all ships. Yeah, there were obviously stronger altcoin horses in the past cycles as well, but you know, we saw a lot of them at least get some respectable moves. I don't think we're getting that same thing this cycle. I do think that Ethereum will try for a move, but most things are just not. And if your favorite altcoin, shitcoin, whatever the fuck hasn't moved yet, it's probably got AIDS, and its days are numbered. And while it might have a few percentage moves here or there, it's just pound for pound, it's better to be in other things that are showing relative strength compared to that. So again, going back to the total 3 here, I would say that you can generally bet on those stronger horses as long as this condition right here is met. Again, right around 600 billion on a monthly closing basis. You're probably going to see most of those strong ones continue, like a Solana, and there are other ones. I just don't know what they are. So just figure it out yourself. Just fucking do altcoin, shitcoin versus Bitcoin on TradingView. If it's in an uptrend, it's good. If it's in a downtrend, it's not good. Wow, crazy. And define those trends by a weekly time frame minimum. So yeah, the winners are gonna win more, and the losers are just gonna lose more. Is what it seems like to me. But Bitcoin dominance is really showing some signals now. I do believe I put in a high here. Like I said, there might be one more swipe up towards the 618, but I do think that we're seeing toppy signals here. Not that this is the best chart to be looking at, but it is a good overview. And if we do see this come down, you're going to see those altcoins break those prior Bitcoin pairing highs. So again, for looking at an example here, I think Solana is a good example. You'd be expecting it to break this prior high over here, and it's probably going to make significantly new highs. In fact, if I'm just looking at Solana, I'm probably looking at least somewhere in this area here for the next all-time high. So what does that equate to on a dollar valuation? I don't know. But generally, the ones that have already won, they're going to win big. The ones that have not already won, very questionable. I would go as far to say they're probably barely going to win at all, if anything. And there's going to be just other things that are much better. So right now, really, is not the time to be making excuses for your favorite shitcoin. If it hasn't already moved, it's not a good fucking sign. It's really not a good sign. So I'll kind of leave you with that one. Also, on the other side, let's say theoretically that Total 3 does close below 600 billion. That's where everything changes for me. And I'd be looking for everything, pretty much everything, maybe save for like one or two, or very, very far outliers to just come catastrophically down. But that's going to do it for right now. Just keep your eyes on these numbers. Obviously, they don't update too often, which is why we don't cover them too often. So this is on a monthly time frame, so you got about 22 and a half days here left. But if you see things start to come down here significantly before around end of month, or even in the short term, like it is a good time to be cautious. Until then, these are all opportunities. I would continue to say that there are opportunities, and just like Bitcoin, probably put in another low, but just be mindful of that. We'll end things right there. As always, I want to wish you the best. Take care. Much love. Choose your favorite shitcoins well, and I'll see you in the next one.